Politics is all about power shifts, but some leaders have defied the odds, some even holding onto their positions for decades. In this episode, we'll take a look at some of the longest-serving presidents and prime ministers, who at the time of making this video, which is in March of 2025, are still with us, and still serving as either presidents or prime ministers. Welcome to Kano Talks. This is where we talk about everything relating to public administration. With this podcast, we aim to clarify and simplify some of the aspects of public administration, public management, and public finance. Let's get into today's episode by listing some of the longest-serving leaders who are still in power. We'll also explore their rise to power, the criticism they often face, and some of the speculations behind their incredible and long-standing tenures. First on our list is Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India. Narendra Modi, who was born in 1950, is an Indian politician and government official who rose to become a senior leader of a political party, the BJP. In 2014, he led his party to a landslide victory in the elections, after which he was sworn in as India's 14th Prime Minister, on the 26th of May 2014. In 2024, Modi became the Prime Minister for the third consecutive time. This made him the second Indian Prime Minister to do so after Congress party leader Nehru, in 1962. Modi's continued leadership is bolstered by the fact that there is no limit for how many times a person can be the Prime Minister. His leadership has indeed sparked significant debate. Critics often point to concerns about democratic institutions, freedom of speech, and religious polarization. These issues have been widely discussed in media and political circles, reflecting the complexities of governance in a diverse nation like India. His handling of economic policies and the alleged mismanagement of the COVID-19 pandemic have also been scrutinized, with varying perspectives on their impact. On the other hand, his supporters argue that his tenure has brought economic reforms, infrastructure development, and a stronger global presence for India. Next on our list is Mahmoud Abbas, President of Palestine. Mahmoud Abbas is a Palestinian politician, born in 1935, who has been serving as the second president of the State of Palestine and the Palestinian National Authority or PNA, since 2005. Abbas served briefly as Prime Minister of the Palestinian Authority in 2003, before he became President of Palestine in 2005, following the death of Yasser Arafat. Critics of Mahmoud Abbas accuse him of clinging to power, with some calling his leadership authoritarian and out of touch with the Palestinian people. They also criticize his failure to achieve meaningful progress in peace negotiations with Israel. Supporters, however, praise his commitment to diplomacy and stability, as well as his efforts to represent Palestinian interests on the global stage. They argue that he navigates complex political challenges while trying to maintain unity within Palestinian factions. Next on our list is Ralph Gonsalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Ralph Gonsalves is a politician who was born in 1946. He rose to power when he became the leader of the Unity Labour Party from December 1998. In 2001, he led the Unity Labour Party to victory in the general elections. He is currently the fourth Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, from March 2001. It is reported that Gonsalves has maintained his position as Prime Minister largely because of his repeated electoral successes. This is as a result of his ability to connect with voters, and through his strategic political alliances. There is also no constitutional cap on the number of terms a Prime Minister may serve. Therefore, his continuation in office is entirely dependent on maintaining the support of the majority in Parliament. On the 7th of November 2020, Gonsalves was sworn in for his fifth term as Prime Minister. Next on our list is Hassan al-Bolkiah, Prime Minister of Brunei. Hassan al-Bolkiah is the 29th Sultan of Brunei, who was born in 1946. Bolkiah ascended to power as Sultan, following his father's abdication to the throne. He then became Prime Minister when Brunei gained independence from the United Kingdom on the 1st of January 1984. This Sultan of Brunei is reported to be one of the world's longest reigning and few remaining absolute monarchs. The Sultan is the head of state and absolute monarch of Brunei and also serves as Prime Minister, Minister of Defense, Foreign Minister, and Minister of Finance. He is advised by several councils, which he appoints. After Queen Elizabeth II, the Sultan is the world's second longest reigning current monarch. Last on our list of the longest-serving leaders, but definitely not least, is Paul Biya, President of Cameroon. Paul Biya, who was born in 1933, is a Cameroonian politician who has served as President of Cameroon since 1982. Prior to this role, he served as Prime Minister from 1975 until 1982. He is among the longest-serving heads of state in the world, excluding monarchs. Paul Biya became President of Cameroon in 1982 after the unexpected resignation of Amadou Ahidjo, the country's first president. Under mounting pressure in the early 1990s, he pledged to introduce multi-party democracy in Cameroon, thereby deepening the nation's ties with Western governments. Following the introduction of multi-party politics, Biya won the country's first multi-party elections in 1992 and repeated the success in 1997, 2004, 2011, and 2018. Critics of Paul Biya accuse him of authoritarian rule, with many highlighting his lengthy tenure, his constant absence from the country, continued abandoning of his duties as a head of state, and the suppression of political opposition. They also point to the ongoing conflicts in the Anglophone regions and his government's poor handling of them. Supporters, on the other hand, commend his leadership for maintaining stability and development in Cameroon despite challenges. They also credit him with navigating complex international relations and promoting economic growth in the country. As of March 2025, Paul Biya has been the president of Cameroon since 6 November 1982, which means that he has been in office for over 42 years. Although not discussed in detail in this video, here are the other longest-serving, non-royal leaders who have been in power for decades. Starting with the President of Equatorial Guinea, who has been heading Equatorial Guinea since seizing power from his uncle in a coup in 1979. He is among the longest-serving heads of states, having assumed office as President of Equatorial Guinea since the 12th of October 1982. There is also the second supreme leader of Iran. He previously served as the third president of Iran, from 1981 to 1989. His rule has made him the longest-serving head of state in the Middle East, as well as the second longest-serving Iranian leader of the last century. Another long-serving leader is the President of the Republic of Congo, who has served in that role on a number of separate occasions. His first term lasted from 1979 until 1992. He then returned to power in 1997. The 2015 constitutional changes, via a referendum, has allowed him to extend his presidency further. This new constitutional amendment has enabled him to stand for another term. He then was re-elected in the 2016 presidential elections, and then in 2021, and has been serving continuously since then. Next on the list is the President of Uganda, who came into power on the back of an armed uprising in 1986. The office of the Ugandan president has been held by 9 people, making the current incumbent the longest-serving president of Uganda, ahead of Idi Amin, who ruled from 1971 to 1979. Eritrea, a country of roughly 6 million people in the east of Africa, has only had one president since its independence in 1993. This country has never held national elections since gaining its independence. There is also no constitution which is in full effect, which would define presidential term limits or any democratic transitions. Another long-serving leader is the President of Tajikistan, who was elected in power on the 6th of November 1994, following a nationwide election. He initially rose to prominence during the Tajik Civil War in 1992, when he was elected chairman of the Supreme Council as a compromise candidate. Initially, the presidency had term limits, but constitutional amendments in 2016 removed these limits, allowing him to remain in power indefinitely. Over the years, he has won 5 presidential elections. Next up is Alexander Lukashenko, who has been the first and only president of Belarus since the office of the president was first established in 1994. So far he has won 7 consecutive terms, with his latest inauguration taking place in 2025, making him the current longest-serving leader in a European country. There is also Daniel Ortega, the president of Nicaragua, who first served as president from 1985 to 1990. Although he lost the elections in 1990, 1995, and 2001, he returned to power in 2007 after winning his second, third, and fourth term in 2006, 2011, and 2016 respectively. His long tenure was made possible by the abolishment of presidential term limits in 2014, allowing Ortega to remain in power indefinitely. Another long-serving leader is the President of Djibouti, who has served as the President of Djibouti since 1999. He was first elected as president in 1999, as the hand-picked successor to his uncle, and went on to serve 5 terms. He was re-elected in 2005, 2011, 2016, and 2021. Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, is also one of the longest-serving leaders in Africa, having served 4 terms. He first took office in April 2000, and has remained in power since then. A 2015 constitutional referendum allowed him to run for a third 7-year term, followed by 2 additional 5-year terms. His 4th term began in August 2024. Last on our additional list of long-serving leaders is Vladimir Putin, who has served 5 terms as president of Russia. His presidency began in 2000, and he served 2 consecutive 4-year terms until 2008. After a term as prime minister, he returned as president in 2012, and has remained in power since. A constitutional amendment in 2020 reset his previous terms, allowing him to run again in 2024. These leaders represent a fascinating mix of political systems, ideologies, and challenges. Their extended time in office offers insights into the complexities of governance and the factors that contribute to political longevity. Whether admired or criticized, their impact on their nations is undeniable. In conclusion, this episode aims to contribute to the debate around term limits for state leaders, which revolves around the balance between democratic accountability and political stability. Proponents or supporters argue that limiting terms for state leaders prevent the concentration of power, reduce the risk of authoritarianism, and allow for fresh leadership and ideas, while critics contend that term limits can undermine political continuity and hinder long-term reforms. Ultimately, the debate reflects differing views on democracy, governance, and leadership in a rapidly changing world. So, what's your view around term limits, especially around elected state leaders? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. And don't forget to check out these other videos under our channel. Also remember to press the like button below to show your support. And if you are interested in the fields of public administration, political science, public finance, and the overall management of the public sector, including the running of government, then make sure you follow us or subscribe to our podcast show on the audio streaming app of your choice. And if you really liked our content, don't forget to share this episode with your friends and family, and tell them about our podcast. We'd also appreciate if you could rate and review this episode and our podcast. Thank you for listening to this episode. Join us again next time for another episode. Until then, check out our other episodes. Kano Talks.